Just tell them what you just told us.
Okay. This is a situation that most people don't see when they see the homeless people. They see us as a problem. You have homeless people that are on the street as well as in the shelters, but the shelters don't usually work out for us, so we end up coming back out to the street. If you get in an argument with somebody, you're kicked out of the shelter, and the person who starts the argument, they're going to remove them, but the other person, they're going to say, well, evidently you must be a problem too, so you have to leave. So a lot of women get victimized this way. These guys make sure that they're thrown out the shelter, they forced into prostitution, they forced on a drug called K2 now. They're selling themselves for little to nothing, $2 to $3. The situations, the reason why I'm still on the street, I just came out of prison after doing 10 years for obstruction of justice. A friend said he needed help. I helped him. Only in America, when doing the right thing is wrong. You don't know who's after this person, but guess what? You find out later it's the feds. Ignorance is no excuse of the law, so always ask your friends when they say they need help, who they need help from. Okay, this situation with the homeless. You have people on the street, we get raped, we get robbed, we have stuff stolen from us, we are assaulted. These things happen on a regular basis, so you really have to stand up and be some type of person that can either fight for yourself or fight for others, because they're always going to need help. They say it's strength in numbers, but sometimes it's strength in just one person and how you treat people. So the things that happen to us are not happening to the tourists. But the homeless are always accessible. That's why these things happen to us. The tourists, the reason why things happen to them is because they know if you're coming in from another city or state, you're going to have some form of money on you. Whether it's a credit card or cash, you're going to have something on you. So that's why they will go after them. Once you get rid of the homeless, they want to put everybody in housing. Those that don't go into housing, their remedy for them, they think is locking them up. Locking them up ain't going to do nothing. You're going to lock them up. The people that's committing crimes are going to go after the tourists. The tourists bring in money outside of what the city's revenue is. This is what helps a city to grow. Without tourism, the city is stagnant just on the money that it's used to making. So it doesn't rise or fall, it stays stagnant. Now, you get rid of the tourists, now they're going to go after these people in these houses. So indirectly, the homeless are actually protecting other people by being out here, taking the brunt of everything that happens to them, so that it happens to nobody else. They don't see that. Some of us will be out here. Some of us want to be out here, some of us don't want to be out here. I, per se, don't want to be out here, but I have to be out here right now until someone takes my place. They think that, well, we'll take all the people from South Dallas was one of the remedies, and we'll throw them in West Dallas, where you're going to take one monster and throw it to the next. Well, we're going to take everything from them and put them where we want to put them, so you're not giving them nothing back. And if you don't give them something better and show them something better and cluster them in the same place, you're going to get another project that you don't want. So how do you alleviate the problem? I'm talking in a homeless meeting at the library. When I tell the lady who I am, she say, well, we don't have time. We're done. And I say, I'm the only homeless person here. I have the one opinion that really matters. None of you all are homeless here. Or someone said they used to be homeless, but you're no longer homeless. Conditions change each year. So it has to be a current condition that we're talking about, so you know how to fix the change. So what I told them was clustering causes a new project, because they did it in Washington, D.C. Taking everybody from South Dallas to West Dallas is going to start an argument, so they started cleaning up both. They're sparsely placing the people out, and they're showing them they can have something better. So some of these people are getting townhouses, some of them are getting condominiums, some are getting lofts. They're getting better things. Some of them will come back to the street. They won't succeed because of addictions or arguments or whatever makes them lose their place. And some of them will. So it should be a case-by-case basis on how they judge people. Don't judge everybody by one person. I'm going to give you an example, excuse me. A guy raped somebody. He's of an ethnic group. That whole ethnic group is categorized by one guy. That shouldn't happen. Somebody murdered somebody. So they categorize the ethnic group by that person that did that murder. Or it may be the age group. Or it may be the height group, the weight group. Whatever it is, these isms, these ways that they categorize people is wrong, because generalizing is what they're doing. They're really not categorizing. Because if you categorize, when someone does something, they get placed in that area. Generalizing is they all did it, which is wrong, because everybody's not the same. If that was the case, When Adam messed up, God wouldn't have made no more people. That would have been the end of that. They're not going to do great. I'm going to get rid of them all because I don't need them. But he see that some people do have potential. So when I went to prison, I was no longer a member of society, as they call you, a productive member of society. I had always been a producer in society, even throughout prison. And when I come back to the street, I had 3 jobs. Del Monte Fresh Cut, Cash Construction, and Upstage USA. And I stayed with Upstage USA. That was the job I had the longest until my feet got messed up. So that was the job that I lost that I really wanted. That was a great job. They don't do no background checks. They don't do drug testing. This was a job paying $12 an hour. This was a W-4 job. So people who complain that they can't find jobs, the one thing I do love about Texas versus D.C., there are plenty of jobs here. In Washington, D.C., the older generation won't relinquish their jobs. The younger generation that's in college got all the mediocre jobs. So the people who would normally get a job at Burger King can't because you have a 4.0 GPA person with a master's degree sitting at McDonald's flipping a burger when that should be your job because it's something limited. I had a GED. I had a 9th grade education. That would have been me, but I couldn't get that job because somebody who would be called overqualified has that job, but that's all they can get. So the conditions in this country are changing. People have to learn how to make the change. Franklin Delano Roosevelt used the idea from an English economist named John Maynard Keynes, and when we got Franklin Delano Roosevelt, we got a real democracy, and democracy is competition. And then we have a capitalist society where you can earn as much as you want. So we truly do have the greatest country in the world, whether people believe it or not, because what makes this country great and better than most is everyone has that opportunity. Even us homeless people, we have an opportunity to do something. And I was doing it, but you also have something called a crab in a barrel. When you take a crab out, the other crabs latch on and try to pull it back in. So the same people that told me to get a job were the same people that said, hey, I have a homeless person on my property. This homeless person is me. And the person that made the call is not the person who owns the business, it's another homeless person. So after your tickets build up, and I'm on the housing list for Lakeview Townhomes, a 2-bedroom townhouse, I have a friend, Amber Lynn Bell, who's pregnant 9 months. Somebody raped her, and she was pregnant. This was going to be my roommate. This was somebody I'm helping off the street, helping myself over the street, and a child that wouldn't have hit the street. And I lost everything. No more job, because I got to walk around. I can't sleep nowhere. So I'm getting something in my leg. It's called edema. If I take my pants leg and lift it up and press my leg, and you'll see that it stays pressed in. It doesn't just come right back out. Then the rain hit my feet, and my feet are still healing up from the rainwater from like last year. So that's how bad the rain tore me up, and it just only took 3 days. So it wears your feet down so that the skin is so thin in one layer because the skin comes off of it like chiclets. Our worst enemy besides other people out here is also the weather elements, and rain is the worst. It's worse than the cold. You need a tarp, you need a quilt, and you need a sleeping bag, at least a 30-degree. Reason why, because it's bigger and it's off your skin. The other ones may have a higher degree of protection, but the closer they are to you, they're just like second skin, you're going to get cold. So the bigger it is, it keeps it off you. The tarp keeps it off you. The condensation will turn to ice, but you won't turn to ice. So that's how I was able to survive out here on the side. I stay on this corner because a lot of women get attacked. So if they stay on this corner where I'm at, they don't get attacked. If they're at the library and they have cameras at the library, you might get raped 15 deep. And these are new women that come around here that don't nobody know, that get taken advantage of. They'll ask somebody for a cigarette. They have a drug that was in the prison system that I had heard about. It's called K2. You can put K2 on anything in its original form. It has no odor, it has no taste, it has no color. In its original form, you would not know what it's on. So some people like to smoke meth. It's on the meth. It's on marijuana. It's in coke. It's on anything you could think of. People huff paint, they can put it in the paint. And this is what I believe should happen to K2. K2 needs to be labeled a date rape drug, because if you label it a date rape drug through the legal system, they could prosecute people for it because it's killing people. It's really, I can name, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 drugs that I think are the stupidest drugs I've ever heard of, and their purposes make no sense because they're killing you. I would start off with meth. Meth, crank, and ice. It's a drug that keeps you up all day and night long. You get no rest. So why would you want to stay up so long? Somebody say, well, the Japanese invented it so people could work. Okay, they have 5-hour energy. If you go to sleep early, you'll have enough energy to work. If you work out and stay in shape and eat healthy and eat light, you'll have a lot of energy as well. People don't know it. The drugs don't make you high. The chemicals in your brain is what is releasing. You're making you high. So that's a stupid drug to want to stay up all that time and crash, and then you start to look old real fast because your body is utilizing too much of the chemicals in your brain too fast. The pituitary gland is pushing out too much. It's killing you. It's making you old before your time. The other one that I would say is real stupid is K2. K2 gives you heart attacks, heart palpitations, you go into seizures, you actually die from it, and sometimes you wake up and sometimes you don't. Why would I want to take a drug that when you first take your first puff or drink it or whatever they do to you, all you remember was when you first did it and then when you woke up? Now you done been raped by these people, you know that you feel funny inside, or you've been stabbed and didn't know you were stabbed until you woke up out of it, if you ever wake up. So there's a big blank in your life because of this drug, and it can kill some people on the first time. The next drug that I will tell you that is very stupid is a drug, it's called crocodile. It's from Russia. It eats the flesh. It's a flesh-eating drug like a flesh-eating bacteria. Same exact effect. But this drug has another effect that people don't know. If someone is using crocodile and have sex with somebody, it can pass through their bodily fluids into your body and start eating your flesh like a disease. So this is a drug that acts like a disease. And the last drug that I would say is very stupid is Flocka. Bath salts. It makes you run around, act crazy, very hyper, and you're eating people like Dawn of the Dead, literally running around trying to eat people. I don't know why it has the effect to make you want to eat people. That's just what it does to everybody that uses it. So those 4 drugs I think are the dumbest drugs I've ever seen, because if you want to use those, I want to sleep all day, I want to be up all day, I want to have my flesh eaten off my body, or I want to eat someone else's flesh off their body. Those drugs don't make no sense. But right now they're going through the epidemic with K2. That's the worst one here. And if they don't label it a date rape drug, it will continue to destroy the lives of everybody around it. We have a great opinion. The homeless are the untapped workforce. In other states, they are paying homeless people to clean up. I had an idea for Dallas. You could take the homeless people, give them some kind of Fitbit, some kind of tracker, those that don't mind doing it. And when the tourists come into town, don't steal from them, do your job. You know your city better than anybody else. A homeless person could actually get on the train or the bus, get a free pass to travel and take these people where they need to go. They're actually a walking guide, not just the guys, because how many people pick up the paper guides or have those guides haven't been destroyed, or they forgot to put them out or didn't update them? The people that's going around know where they're at. They know all the places because you know your own city. I'm learning the city. So I wouldn't be good for that. I would just be able to tell them a few things in the area. But that is a good job for them. That's the perfect job. And they asked me, how do I get people to keep it clean up here? Well, we want to sleep here. We sleep right in front of City Hall. Wasn't nobody sleeping out here until I started sleeping out here. So they say, how is that possible? I watched what everybody else did and I did the opposite. They defecate on the sidewalk. I have a portable toilet. They urinate on the sidewalk. I have a bottle that I put in another bottle, and dispense of it in the library bathroom toilet in the morning when I go in. So I don't leave none of that. I get up all my trash, they throw trash. I get my clothes up and everything is all on this wagon. Everything travels with me. When it rains, I have a tarp. I stay right out here in the rain, and I sit and talk to God. So I keep myself out of the way. A lot of times, I don't hang with the rest of the homeless people. I don't deal with them because it's not just homeless people that I see drive up sometimes and throw trash out their window because there's a homeless person there. So when you come down the street, y'all threw this trash. Nobody knows where it came from. So there are other people besides homeless people that commit crimes. And speaking of crimes, there's something called Ring. Ring is a doorbell that has a camera on it that let them know who's committing crimes. If somebody steals somebody's mail or who's at the door, it's really letting you know who's at your door. So I went up to the Farmers Branch, which is up the street. It's not Farmers Branch, it's Camden Farmers Market houses and apartments up the street. And I actually talked to some of the people. I say, listen, some of the people are homeless and some of them are not. I went online and I got the app. You can download it, put it to your phone, and they ask you to help them identify who these people are committing these crimes. God bless you. Have a great evening. And so as they look at them, they can see some of them are homeless, but some people, they ask people who these people are. Some of these people get out of their cars. One lady lived in a place called Straight Lane. Straight Lane is in Dallas. They have $25 million mansions on Straight Lane. She was driving down here, stealing people's mail at the Camden Farm and Market houses. She was in a red pickup truck. And then they traced it back and found out where this lady lived. You're a millionaire, you're stealing people's mail that don't even have a pay scale on the level that you have. Or how did you get your money? Maybe all of it might have been stolen. And she was stealing people's mail. But it was a good way to find out who's doing what. More people use their cell phones as cameras and stuff to record different things. But sometimes, like, there were 2 women that got raped at the bridge. And everybody who recorded that, and this is not right, everybody who recorded that, when the police got there, you should have turned your phone in, or at least the video footage, saying we have the video footage for evidence. But if you kept it and placed it on YouTube, Facebook, or anything else, and you didn't let them know, hey, I saw what happened and I want to report this crime, you should be prosecuted for that. Because you're just watching a video and it's like you're getting off on this. You didn't help this lady. You didn't make the 911 call. You just recorded it. And that's wrong. And a lot of people don't care. The reason why we need to care, because other countries look at us. Other countries see what the United States does. And this country is made up of immigrants. So when our descendants look at us and say our ancestors were stupid, we don't want to be like them. We don't like them. People start to say negative things about our country, but if our country start doing the things that we're supposed to do, like the gangs were supposed to police the neighborhood, protect the neighborhood, there's supposed to be a family that you can go into when your family didn't show you love, but now you're being beat into a gang, you're being raped into a gang, then who actually loves you? That's not love. I'm supposed to respect her when you treated her like the worst type of woman in the world. I'm supposed to respect him when you beat him down to nothing. Why am I supposed to respect them when you didn't, but you claim that you love them? Love is not abuse. What we said about slavery, that we shouldn't mistake a lack of abuse for somebody caring about you. They just didn't abuse you at that time. It is what it is. And that's another point I would like to bring up, slavery. Forget reparations, forget 40 acres and a mule and all that. This is what people need to see. Whites went through it with King James. Blacks went through it with Shaka Zulu. Asians went through it with Genghis Khan. And we can go on and on with all the different ethnic groups. Everybody has experienced slavery. Everybody has experienced it. So nobody is worse off than the other. It don't matter how many years that it was known about. There have been years in other cultures that people don't know about. I'm always going to be divided on that because I'm of mixed race. So I can't sit up here and downgrade anybody else. So it's things that we should see in life. We need to keep our mind more open to the world, not just ourselves, because when we're selfish and say, I'm gonna give you an example, the killing of black people. It was a racist cop that killed an innocent black man. Whole statement is wrong. It has no power. Racist, he doesn't have any history. Cop, you haven't separated him from the police force. Killed, if you hit it dead and kill it, it still dies. It's not, it was no willing intent, it wasn't murder. Innocent, this black man might have had a criminal record. And then when you say black man, whites, Spanish, Asian, they're gonna say, well, that's just a black problem. We can't get involved. The statement should go like this. A murderous, not saying that he murdered, but he has some intent. A murderous rogue official, he's still an official, but when you say rogue, you separated him from his force. Murdered, now you're showing willing intent, and unarmed, which you can prove that he had no arms on him because you can check him right there on the spot. Civilian, now white, Spanish, Asian, everybody can stand and say, well, we had problems too, we just couldn't stand with you because you made it a black issue. Now there's an issue of civilians versus militants. Everybody can stand together. We need to stop separating ourselves and stand together. We all come from one man. We all come from one God. We're all the same people. We just different, sound different, look different because we done explored and went other places. We're all the same. No matter what we look like, We're all the same. We all bleed the same color blood, unless there's something wrong with our blood. We're all the same. And everybody say, no matter what you say, if you burn anybody, if you burn them bad enough, everybody's skin will turn white. And when I say white, I mean white like a piece of paper white. That's when they make a joke and say, I'm gonna peel you back to the white meat. Your skin will be white. So that's how I learned the truth means two things: tested, tried, and true, or what the majority believes. And the majority believe in BS. So I go with tested, tried, and true. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. What shape is the earth? All right, do y'all agree? It's a spear, right? Yeah. Let me give you an example. If my fist is a spear and you detach my wrist from it, it's just a spear. There is nothing hanging from it, so it is not suspended to denote the top from the bottom. There's nothing that it sits on to denote a bottom from a top. So if people are jumping this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way on the earth, which direction are they jumping? I deal in truth. I don't deal in facts, because facts are not true. Truth never changes. If the earth is a sphere, is a one-sided plane object. It has one side, not two sides, not a top or a bottom. What goes up must go down was the biggest lie that was ever told on the face of the planet of the earth. What goes off must come back on due to centrifugal force and gravitational pull. We jump off the earth and come back onto the earth. Because if there's no gravity or zero gravity like the moon, if you jump too hard, you'll go completely off the moon. You'll go into orbit. What color is the sky?
Blue.
Is that really the color?
No.
What is the real color? It's clear, because it's a refraction of the Earth's colors on the atmosphere, the particles of water in the air that give it its color. When there's no particles, you can see straight into the void of outer space. I watched a movie called Higher Learning, and it was a lot of racist rhetoric, but when the guy Remy killed, a role was played by, is a supermodel. What is her name? She had a TV show, young black supermodel, and I can't even think of her name right now. But when he killed her, he felt bad about killing. He showed remorse. He's supposed to have been a racist white dude. His friends pumped him up. The black dude, his friends pumped him up. And when you look at that, everybody's pumping you to do something. If some people may believe in the Bible, some may not. But the Bible has a lot of great teachings in it. It tells you that we are supposed to be the salt of the world. This is God speaking. If you're the salt of the world, don't let the world flavor you. This person stole from me, I'm going to get him. This person lied on me, I'm going to get him. They took something from me, I'm going to get him. I remember when you laughed at me, I'm going to get you. That's the world making me salty, because the world is flavoring me. If the world flavors me, I'm stuck in the past and I keep looking back. But if I'm to flavor the world, I put all that behind me and I move out and spread myself around the world. So me being here and all the places I've been, I'm flavoring the world. I understand different things. And we are taught a lot of things, but we're not taught the truth. The truth is something that you will find, and when you find it, people will say, well, this is your truth. But if we go by what we're taught, lean not to our understandings, we'll all come to the same truth. They tell us once saved, always saved. And I say read Hebrews 10:26-31. It says, if you continually to willfully sin after coming into the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sin. There's only a fiery lament of indignation that waits for you in the end. And it says also that you've taken the Spirit of grace and trampled underfoot something as holy as the Son of God and treated him as a common thing. And it is him who says that I will repay. That if two or more were placed to death under the Mosaic law, how much worse would it be to be delivered into the hands of the living God? So, if we're learning that you can backslide to where there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. And somebody said, well, the only way I know that I'm truly saved is because I made it to heaven. And I had to laugh at that too. Because it may sound crazy, how can he laugh? He made it to heaven. Well, the first one that was made that sat beside God, Mr. Satan, was in heaven when he backslid out of heaven and took a third of the angels with him out of heaven. So if they can backslide in heaven because God gives you evil, The evil he gives you is free will, because the only way you can go against God, which is evil, is to have free will. He gave it to him. And he doesn't take that from man. So if man has free will, man goes into heaven, man does the right thing, he's saved. Can man still end up in hell after he's saved? Yes, he can. Because Satan proved that I'm in heaven and I did bad things and I'm doomed for hell. You can still go to hell even going to heaven. So that's to make people think, make them open their eyes and see, wow, I can still do something that damns me. You have to take judgment out of your hearts, because it says, judge not, let ye be judged. Because if you judge others, you'll be judged by the same judgment you judge others with. I'm going to give you a prime example. It says that God will, in heaven, he will wipe all the tears and sorrows from your eyes. That means all the bad things you have done, and proof of it, that is all the bad things you've done, is Ezekiel 33, 11 through 15. He says that I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked. Turn from your wicked ways, and you shall live, O Israel. The day that a wicked man changes his ways, it'll be as though he has a clean slate, as white as snow, and none of his wicked deeds ever existed, and he shall know eternal life. And the day that a righteous man transgresses, he shall surely know death. So God don't want to kill a wicked man. He want to give him a chance to change. And that's why you're alive, because when you're dead, it's too late. Because now you're on his terms wholly. And if you transgress from back then, can you come back once you go to hell? There's nothing to say once you go to hell from heaven that you can come back. There's nothing that tells us that. People say, oh, I'll just repent. Well, if it was so easy as repenting, and he brought up, well, Jesus is the perfect sacrifice. He died once and for all sins. But it just said, if you continually willfully sin, you have trampled underfoot the Son of God. You have thrown it back in his face. So you can come from under that covenant. And it's stuff that we do ourselves. We can't say the devil made us do it, because he allows the devil to get you when you do things. And some people don't get into religion, but the reason why I brought that up is to teach us in life, everything we do, somebody or something is watching us. Your eyes are witnesses against everything you see and everywhere you've been. Your feet are witnesses against you, because they tell exactly where you've been. Your hands tell what you've done. Your ears, what you've heard. Your nose, what you smell. And your mouth is going to speak that. It's going to speak it against you. And it's not to scare nobody. It's to wake you up. Because if you're doing the right things, you don't have to be scared. Just wake up, change. We have a chance. He said, come to us in our youth. While y'all still young, you have a chance. The reason why he says that, because if you can start to see what he's saying. If I wait till I'm an old man, what happens if I can no longer speak? So I can't praise him with my mouth, but it says what a man thinks in his heart, which is his mind, he does. So you can praise him in your mind, but if you have Alzheimer's, can you praise him anymore? You don't even know who you are. So you're lost. So do it while you're young. And don't be judgmental, because if you pass on and you're a judgmental person, you know how they tell you these things. We're not saying this is what's going to happen, but let's just hypothetically say, what if God has a video and he actually shows it, but he wiped from your memory, because he wiped away the tears and sorrow from your memory, everything you did so you don't know it. And he asked everybody, and the judge, you don't even know that you're that judge. You're judging yourself. He should go to hell, well then he shall. Why am I going to hell? Because it was you. This is your life, and you didn't even know it was you, because you passed judgment on people on earth. But when you let it go, there's no judgment. You can't judge yourself. Every man creates his own heaven and hell, because God is in each one of us. We are God. The flesh is what we call Satan, because it's carnal. It's everything that's tangible. I can feel this. I can go hit somebody. I can do what I want because I can feel it. But God only asks for 10%. The subconscious is 10% of your whole life. You get ready to hit somebody, if somebody hits you and you hit them instantly, it's instinct and reflex. If it takes time to build up, it's emotion. If you thinking and you hear a voice that sounds like your voice, is the voice of God. It don't say, I am God. It sounds just like you, but it answers questions you don't know the answer to. If I hit this man, I can knock him out. If I hit this man, he might die. If I hit this man, I'm going to laugh at him. Whatever it is, but he's giving you time to think. Do you want to do it? Do you really want to do it? Or do you want to say, let me let this go? Turn the other cheek don't mean you hit me and I say, go hit me here. Turn the other cheek, you hit me here, you see these cheeks because I'm trying to walk away from you. Because it says if you correct the scoffer, he will only hate you. If somebody hits you here, you're going to become a scoffer. You're going to be mad at them. So you walk away from the situation. Everything a man does is not macho, I got to fight everybody. If you're protecting family members and friends, then you may have to be physical. But if it's something between you and somebody, something that you can let go, it is being a bigger man. Want to know why? Because it takes a lot of this to walk away from a fight. This, when I was in prison, I got hit with a tray right here. That's called a sebaceous cyst. I got hit with that because a dude that's supposed to be my friend said, you lie, you a lying Christian. And I said, you a lying Muslim, because he was Muslim. He said, you lie to God. I said, you lie to Allah. And he said, say it again, and I didn't see his arms behind him. This dude is bigger than me. And all I know is I got hit with the tray, and I stood up, I looked at him, and he looked at me up and down. I said, yeah, I ain't go down. I need to see you outside. I said some other things, but I'm not going to be raw like that. So I said, meet me outside. So when we got to the building, I felt 2 punches in the same spot, and I looked back, and I said, that's all you got? I need to see you in the bathroom. And we got in the bathroom, and being honest, I whipped him in the bathroom. They broke it up because he tried to wrestle me. If you boxing, ain't no wrestling and holding. Be a man and take it. You can throw it, take it. You hit me with a tray, you tried to kill me. About this long, it's hard plastic, like them trash cans. It will kill you. He could have cracked my skull, but this Joe Rockhead, this is a light L right here, is a 2x4 mark where my mother hit me when I was 5. So I got a pretty hard head. So while this going on, he comes downstairs and they say his name is John Robinson and my name is Carlton Madison Alley. He's from Fort Dix, New Jersey. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm in Fort Dix, New Jersey prison where he's at. We there together. So basically, I'm in his hometown. He's running everything if he really wanted to do it that way, but he didn't go down that way. He came downstairs and they say John Robinson at the door. And I'm like, man, he wants some more. So I'll go to the door with my fist balled up. He extends his hand and says he's sorry. And I remember something in the Bible that I should have remembered at the table. He who has conflicts between religions will never be righteous. You fighting over something you have no control over. Now, I have a question to ask y'all. And I want you to think about it before you answer. This is a question for all of y'all. Do you believe in God? I don't believe in God. Want to know why? Because at some point in your life, you have to go from, matter of fact, I'm going to break it down like this and you'll understand it. Each one of y'all have a girlfriend, and you have 2 male friends in the house with your girlfriend. One of them, you're going to say, I know he ain't going to do nothing to my girl. And the other one, you're going to say, I believe he won't. So if you understand what I'm saying, when I say I don't believe in God, because I know God, that's a difference. At some point, you will have an experience where it's past belief, and you might have already had that experience where something happened that was out of your control, but it happened to your benefit. I was shot at point blank range. Here I sit. The dude's hand didn't move. There's no hole in my head. I was hit by a tractor on this side, and part of my spine is splintered, knocked me up in the air. I came down with a mouthful of rocks and dirt after being stabbed in the head 6 times with a screwdriver. But here I stand. Pushed in a pool at 5 years old. Choked, blacked out, hit the bottom, woke up in a whirlpool. I was pronounced DOA, but here I still stand. 10 feet of water in every direction. I'm holding off wild dogs. I turn around and start running. I'm somehow on the other side of that water, standing on dirt, rocks, and sand. And nothing is stuck to the bottom of my shoe. The bottom of my shoe is bone dry. It wasn't ice, it was water. It was running water. And I can't explain none of that. But here I am. Hit with that tray, 2x4 at 5 years old. I'm still here. I can't explain none of that. But here I am. Everything that happened to us is not always for us. It is sometimes to give you a testimony to other people. So when you tell them and they say, man, that's a miracle, is that even possible? And then when you don't believe it's possible and you go questioning things, God will give you your experience. So you can say, man, now I know that God wasn't lying because I've experienced something like that. You've seen things. You know somebody wasn't able to walk out of an accident. The whole car looks like it's been wrapped around a tree. You might see somebody get up and walk out of that car. You know they're supposed to be dead. Somebody fall from the top of the building and they don't die. They tell me, oh, I'm hurting, but I'm alive. Or they get hit by a car and the car smack them and they get up and walk away. They might limp, but they got hit to the point where everything should be broken up. They're still here.